Good afternoon, everyone. Are you having a good time? Shirley would like that. And turn that music. Well, I know it is Frank, and Shirley would be dancing if she were here. So good afternoon. So my name is Malia Falke, and I am the director of golf here at Palm Valley. And oh, shush. Anyway, I had the pleasure of knowing Shirley for a very long time, and one of the many things Shirley and I had in common was we both loved hats. So I get to wear her hats today, and I'm honored and pleased to be able to do that. So welcome to her celebration of life. I want to give you a little background of what's going to happen today. We're going to do about 2 hours, but knowing that Amy Alcott's here, it might be 2.5 hours. We're going to share clips, comments from folks around the country who couldn't be here today, and then we're going to open it up to all of you to be able to tell a story. Now, I just want to let you know it's about 2 minutes, and if I'm standing there, Jamie Zimron, and you're talking a little too long, your cue will be land this plane, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So also on the table, we have bookmarks with Shirley on them, and we also have Sporkisms. And we would really like you to take those with you. I know Shirley, Tina told me that Shirley liked everyone when they came to a party to take something home. So this is what you get from her. And the only other thing I'm going to tell you is I want to thank My Ladies Club who loaned us the centerpieces, which are the little golf balls and the little golf thingies around them. So I want to thank them. I don't know. I think Barbara Wall is the only one here that from the class. So no, don't take the golf balls. But if you do, we'll find you. So we want to make sure that everyone takes those home with you. So at this time, we're going to start with a little video from the LPGA. So direct yourself to one of these screens. We have a lot of little videos to show you today, so we're excited about that. But first and foremost, we would like to express our condolences to Mike Gluba and family who are attending. Mike and family flew in from Detroit. If you'll stand so everybody recognizes you. This is one of Shirley's cousins. Very nice, thank you. And also, we have Gary Van Brunt here, who spoke today. Stand up with your family. They drove over from Phoenix. And you might know Gary, who has graciously brought his tire company for sponsorships. I know here for Shirley's the last 3 years we did it, and has many other tournaments. So thank you and welcome. So Kathy, I'd like you to stand, please. Kathy Rakovitz, right there. There's Kathy. So just stand there for a minute. If you get tired, you can sit down. And if not, Alex can stand up for you. I want to tell you a little story about Kathy. Now, I've known Kathy a long time, but she's known Shirley, and she met Shirley through the Niners at Monterey Country Club. And there was a great connection that was made with Shirley and Kathy, and they became close friends, sharing lunches, dinners, and trips. She also helped really actually ran the Shirley Spork Pro-Ams we had here. She organized it all, and we know she was a good friend. Kathy was very giving and gave all of your time to Shirley in any way possible. And many of you have probably spoken to Kathy while she helped Shirley with her appointments, speeches, and selling her books. And by the way, we do have some available if you'd like to buy some, $20. I'm not sure where they're at, but we'll sell them to you. Shirley's somewhere around here going to sell them to you. Yeah. So Shirley traveled with her locally and also, do you want to sit down? She traveled with her locally and also to many Solheim Cup tournaments. So I'm sure you had a great time, but she's also traveled with her when she won some of her other awards. Now, Alex and Kathy, I know that Dolores mentioned today about Partee, but Kathy and Alex now have Partee, so we know that she's in good hands. I think Partee called me and asked to speak, but he wouldn't let her come, so we'll let that go. So Dolores Vinci, will you please stand? Not John, but Dolores. We found out today that John has a new last name. So Dolores did a great eulogy today, and I really learned a lot, and really was wonderful, speaking from the heart. But I have a little story, and I'm hoping it's correct because it was told to me. So if you want to sit down, you can. Okay. I tend to make people stand. Where I learned that you and Shirley were the eyes of the neighborhood. Is that correct? All right. So what Shirley would do is she would sneak out at night and take pictures of VRBO parties around the neighborhood. There were too many cars around. She would take the pictures, and then Dolores would make sure that she was okay, and then after she came back, Dolores would follow through by calling the people that she needed to talk to them about that. Is that true? Okay. We thank you for all. I know you're very close with her, and I heard some other great stories from you, and we thank you for all you did for Shirley. All right, so I want all of the Lady Niners from Monterey to please stand. Please stand. And you have to stand. Yeah. Please stand, yeah. So these ladies not only volunteered and helped out with a lot of Shirley's pro-ams that we did here, but they also kept Shirley busy, fine-tuning their swings, right? Making drills to make sure everybody's ready for team parties. Is that true? Parties. And many other wonderful things at Monterey Country Club. So thank you. I know she loved you all. I heard lots of stories. And then along with that, Pat Casey is here. And Pat Casey actually is the one that hired Shirley at Monterey Country Club. Smart. Okay, so we're going to do another video. So if you'll direct yourself to a screen. Okay. I wanted the real long, big one, but nobody can find it. So if anybody out here has it, give it back. No. Okay, now I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our LPGA National President, Marvel Bernard.
Irish thing going on up here. Thank you, Malia. I want to thank you and your staff. You always do it upright, and we appreciate everything you do. So thank you to the staff here at Palm Valley Country Club. I'd like to thank Shirley's dear friend Tina for everything you've done. Tina and I spoke several times. Yeah, this is very nice. And I would like all the LPGA members and LPGA staff to please stand for a moment if you're a member of the organization. This is our LPGA family. I heard someone say earlier that this is Shirley bringing us all together, which is what she did so well. This is really, truly a celebration of a magnificent woman. I have so many memories of Shirley from the first time I joined the LPGA back in, it's been 20 years now, and I know many of you have known her for a lot longer than that. Shirley was a lifelong learner. She read voraciously. My first recollection of my impression of Shirley was that she went to everything. So Shirley, who founded the organization, came to every learning seminar, every training seminar, every coaching seminar, and it made such an impression on me as a young professional, well, I wasn't that young, as a new professional, I'll say, that this founder of the organization had never stopped learning. So as much as we considered Shirley a great friend and a cheerleader and a supporter of LPGA initiatives, I think of Shirley's incredible leadership skills. I love to read, and I love to read books about leadership. And one of my favorite books is called The Leadership Challenge. And I love that title because leadership often is a challenge. These last few years have been a little bit challenging. But just think of the challenges that Shirley and her team and her fellow tour professionals faced when they started the Ladies Professional Golf Association. It's really incredible. So I want to share 5 characteristics from this book, 5 characteristics of great leaders and how Shirley epitomized all of them. First, great leaders model the way. Shirley was an excellent model of what LPGA professionals should aspire to. As I said, she never stopped learning. And as a young and new professional, I saw the model for what I should be as a professional. Now, we all have stories about Shirley, and one that I heard way on back, it may be urban legend, but when Shirley started the teaching division, they had created this new process to bring teachers in, and they evaluated the teachers to make sure that they lived up to the standard that we wanted represented in the LPGA. And I heard this story that one of our aspiring professionals showed up to teach her lesson, and her shoes were dirty, and Shirley failed her. And that sent a chill down my spine. And to this day, I keep my shoes clean. But the vision she modeled was that we had a standard that we were to meet, and that made a huge impression on me. Next, great leaders inspire a shared vision. Shirley's vision of the teaching division was soon shared by enough people that our organization came into being. All the people who stood here just a few minutes ago, we owe our careers to Shirley Spork. Our organization is now over 1,800 strong, and again, we owe our entire existence and our careers to Shirley. It continues to this day. Great leaders challenge the process. This is Shirley in a nutshell. She and the other founders had to challenge deep-rooted processes that were in place in sexism and racism, in a society that believed that women should be in the kitchen, definitely not on the golf course. When Shirley faced resistance from her fellow tour professionals in starting the teaching division, she challenged the process again and again until she got the votes to pass. Great leaders enable others to act. Gosh, I just keep thinking about Shirley. She's just in my mind. Shirley and I spoke frequently before I became national president and after. She always had great insights, great advice, and sometimes some blunt ideas of what we should be doing. I never felt bossed around by Shirley. I felt that she was an incredible mentor, coach, and cheerleader to me. And she always put the LPGA members first. She enabled me to act. Finally, great leaders encourage the heart. Look at all of you here. Our hearts have all been encouraged by Shirley Spork. Shirley encouraged the heart in everything she did. We are all here today because of this woman's encouragement of so many hearts, from little girls to tour professionals to teaching professionals to the PGA and the LPGA who inducted her into their halls of fame. Shirley, we will miss your heart, but your heart lives within each of our hearts, now and forever. We love you, dear friend. Okay, I know I've got Stephanie. Stephanie Pirith, we would like to invite you to the stage. Stephanie is a rock star leader of girls golf from Miami. She's flown in today to share some memories of Shirley. Please join us.
Well, I didn't write anything down because that always is a disaster for me, so we're just going to wing this for Shirley. So thank you guys. It's an honor to be here to represent the girls golf community and also the Girls Golf Miami program. Shirley was a huge part of our Girls Golf Miami program, so I'm going to try and get through this without breaking down, so you're going to have to bear with me. A lot of people this week at the Founders Cup asked why Sarah and I were dressed like giant ducks. And we walked around the LPGA Tour tournament. It was a little bit hot in fleece duck onesies. And it amazed me how many people came up to me and asked, why are you dressed like a duck? And I said, for Shirley. And they were like, still? I was like, for Shirley. So they asked me to speak about the duck story. And I know that it's a huge part of my girls program in Miami because Shirley was interviewed by my girls. We had weekly FaceTime calls with Shirley. My girls' PGA Junior League team was named Team Spork. And quick story about that one. We lost a match one week for putting. My team were awful at putting. And I told Shirley, I kept her updated, and I said, the girls didn't putt too well today, Shirley. Well, lo and behold, we had a 45-minute video lesson on putting in Miami, and then she videoed it. Kathy had to send it, and she said, make sure your girls see this before your next match. I said to those girls, you better not miss a putt this week. You better not miss a putt. So that was our PGA Junior League team for Shirley Spork. But for the Ducks, so Shirley was on video, and you know when Shirley was on video, you couldn't really control anything that she said. So you just had to go with it. So one of my girls, actually Sarah, she's here, and she said, Shirley, why do you love ducks? And Shirley misheard her and went on a tangent about something else. So for the second time, Sarah said, Shirley, what is it about ducks? For the second time, Shirley went on a tangent about something else. And I said, we're not getting this answer here. She's mishearing you. And then Sarah said it the third time, and she went, oh, let me tell you why I love ducks. This was like an hour later. So the girls sat there, and they were very intrigued. And she talked about how when she was playing golf, she wanted to take in the beauty of the golf course. And she didn't just focus on a golf game. So she challenged all my girls on the golf course to find 3 different types of trees. I've never done this in my life. Like, I was, oh, it's a pretty tree, great. But she made my girls stand, and before you finish a round, on your scorecard, you better have 3 different types of trees. And on top of that, she wanted you to find ducks. Look at how relaxed they are. Ducks never freak out. And I've learned a lot about ducks. And they're very relaxed in their ponds, doing their thing. And that's how we should all be on the golf course. So she explained that to the girls. And when you get out there now, you're like, wow, they are very calm, just loving life. And we're over here freaking out, throwing golf clubs, smashing them, freaking out. And to take in just the ease of what she got from ducks, and I know our house was full of them. I have half of them in my house. And Shirley constantly on a monthly basis would send ducks, boxes of ducks, and I mean boxes of ducks, to Miami. And I'd open it, and I'd be like, oh, my God, it's a Shirley package. It's amazing. So my girls, she explained that she didn't want the girls to focus on the scores. She wanted them to focus on duckies. So what that meant was the number 3. So she wanted the girls to go out there and aim to shoot 4 duckies in a round of golf. So when my girls finish playing now, you get the coach phone call, and it's never about the birdies or how many over and under par. Like, Coach Steph, I made 2 duckies today. And it could just be a par and a par 3, but they made their duckies. So they always go out there, and they're striving to make the duckies for Shirley. We had a tournament where I just got so many ducks sent from her that I had to give them away. So I had to put into a girls' tournament. So if you did make a ducky, I gave out a gift. So Shirley sent about 30 gifts. I gave out 60 duckies that day. And I was just trying to be like, Shirley, I need you to send some more autographs or some little cards or something. There's so many duckies. So we started something called the Duck Diaries, because my phone on a daily basis is full of pictures of ducks. Because when a girl sees a duck, she sends me a picture. And I'm like, I know what a duck looks like. It's just a duck. But now, as Coach Steph with over 200 girls, I have a phone full of ducks. One of my girls, a duck laid an egg in her garden, so we called it the Duck Diaries. And we were going to process the video for Shirley and see how this little duckling was born and all that stuff. Unfortunately, a raccoon came and got the duck egg, but we won't go into that. But we did call it the Duck Diaries, so the girls were super excited. So it was just absolutely incredible what she brought to the golf program, how she inspired you to play better without even getting technical, even though she loved to. She loved the golf lesson. And even though we're worlds apart and we're in Miami, she made sure, even with the time difference that she always forgot about, on the phone calls. I had a phone call at midnight. I turn to my husband and I freak out. I'm like, oh my God, Shirley's calling me, it's midnight. He's like, well, answer the phone. I'm like, I can't answer the phone. What if it's Kathy? I'm like, I can't answer the phone. He's like, answer the phone. And I answered the phone and she's like, hey, how's it going? Shirley, it's midnight. She goes, oh, it's only 9 here in California. Like my heart sunk. Like I was like, so she's telling me about her day and her game of golf with the ladies and asking how the girls are doing. Is their putting getting better? And I was like, oh my goodness. So I had many phone calls, no matter what meeting I was in. If Shirley Spork was on the phone, I walked out and I answered the FaceTime. Never missed a call off Shirley. And she was just an incredible friend. We traveled a lot with her. We were at 2 Solheims. Even though I'm Team Europe, she treated me like I was one of her own. And that's a big deal for the USA fans. So one special, I know Sarah couldn't get up here and speak, but one of the pictures was from the launch of the Drive On campaign at the Founders, where we met Shirley. For those who don't know, Shirley called me Boots. So we met at Topgolf in thigh-high boots. And this was the hat that Shirley wore. And Sarah went down to ask Shirley for her autograph. And Shirley said, nope. She said, I want your autograph. So she took off this hat, and she had Sarah sign it when Sarah was 12, 13 years old. And there it is. So on behalf of Girls Golf in Miami, we just want to drive on for Shirley. And she was a legend, a founder. Most importantly, she was a friend. And we're going to love her and miss her dearly. But we're going to keep making duckies. So every time you see a duck, I don't want the picture, but just remember how calm they are, how relaxed they are, and take in the beauty, because that's what Shirley did. And I want you guys to all know that and embrace that. So thank you.
Don't worry, the LPGA is going to send you a box a week of duckies. Aren't we, Marvel? Okay, so we're going to now start some videos. These are folks that were not able to come for it. Oh, excuse me. We have tribute videos. So go to the screen. We have one more, but so I want to call up Charlie Fisk. Come on up, Charlie. Charlie produced the Founders movie.
Has everyone in here seen the Founders film? Good. We were lucky enough to make this film with Shirley over the last 10 years. It came out about 4 years ago, but you know, if you want a story, go to Shirley Spork, right? So we wanted to find out about the Founders, and Shirley knew every single detail. She was priceless. So we spent about 5 years making the film, and then the film was released. I'd probably spent, I don't know, months of time either talking to Shirley or spending time with Shirley. And the film released, and Shirley and I got to attend a screening together. And after the screening, after years, I mean, this is 6 or 7 years into our friendship, she says, "You ready to go, kid?" And I said, "What?" She said, "Oh, we're playing golf this afternoon." And I was like, she said, "We spent all this time together, I've never even seen your golf game." And I thought, oh man, I'm in for it. I play like scratch golf, it's not great. And I looked out, we get set up on the tee, and I look out at this course, and it is difficult. There's sand everywhere. it was really tricky. Like, this isn't something you just throw an amateur into, right? I'm like super beginner. So I line up, and I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I'm like, oh my God, I'm playing with Shirley Spork. Like, don't mess this up. And she gets up there and hits it. And it's just like, boom, straight. Just straight. Hole after hole, hole after hole. At this point, she was 87, 88. And she's just hitting it straight. And I got up there, and I basically was hitting it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm working so hard to get it to that hole. And I just finally, Shirley drove up to me on the cart, and she looks at me, and she says, Charlie, pick up your ball. So I picked the ball up. But my point to this story is, we learned a lot of things from Shirley over the years, one of which is honesty, another integrity, and how to leave a legacy, right? Just listening to everyone talk about their time with Shirley, like, wow, you know, it would be amazing to leave that kind of legacy in your wake, right? The way she touched every single person that she talked to, the way she knew that there was something bigger out there, not just her, right? There's something bigger she was meant to do, and that was by touching each individual person that she spent time with. Man, I'm going to miss her. I'm sure we all will, because I think she took that time with every single person. It wasn't just one person. Shirley took the time for each of us. That's something special, you know? Not everyone's like that. So I was going to bring my glass up here. I want to raise a glass to Shirley, so let's raise a glass to Shirley. Shirley Spork, y'all.
Hello. There we go. So we're going to now kind of start with the crowd a little bit. I know it's been a lot of movies and but we want to hear some stories from you out here. Marvel and I are going to be walking around. Raise your hand. Like I said, 2 minutes or land this plane. So I'm going to start out with Amy Alcott because I know the plane's going to have to land. So you know I'm just teasing. Okay, here's Amy Alcott, the one and only.
Thank you, Malia. Here we are. Hello, friends. Shirley was an amazing person, as we've all heard and been lucky enough, many of us, to experience in our lives. The golf community is a small community. I've experienced that over the years, that everybody just kind of like knows each other. You can play this game for 30 or 40 years, but you're really part of a family and a community. And that was one of the beauties of Shirley, is that she always made you feel like family. I met Shirley kind of late in my golf career, which is still going on. But I was really blessed to have met her, to experience her generosity of spirit, having her tell me, you got to brush your hair more. You know, you're out in front of people, you got to brush your hair, you know. I said, Shirley, it is brushed. Well, go to a professional, you know, or here's a brush or something. But I was always amazed. You know, I tell people I've had the wonderful honor in my golf career of walking fairways and greens with some of this world of golf's most amazing people. And Shirley was definitely one of those people. Just her spirit and her love of the game and what she always was trying to pass along. Shirley liked to hold court, as we all know, and even at times maybe when I was getting the attention, I always let Shirley hold court. In fact, I have one of the very last videos, I think, of Shirley recently at a gathering of many of us players at Susie McAllister's house, Susie Morton, here during the last Dinah Shore tournament. Several of us got together, and I encouraged Shirley to get up and speak about, you know, life and times of the tour and the genesis of the LPGA Tour, and that's a message that she did so well and passed along to this other generation of players. And she's been a big encouragement to me. I've been lucky enough to have older people in my life, from my teacher, Walter Keller, who taught me how to play, who died in his 90s, to some amazing older people that I've met in my life, pass along their knowledge and their inspiration, and Shirley was certainly one of them. And I'm announcing today something that's come up in the last month or so that my friend here, Molly Ryan, has come up with, and this only gets around like the Arnold Palmer drink. Many of you today have had a Shirley Spork. So raise your glass, and from now on, whenever you're at a restaurant or in your homes, you have to ask for a Shirley Spork, like you'd ask for an Arnold Palmer, because Shirley deserves that. And a Shirley Spork is ice with Tito's vodka, a splash of soda, and a splash of grenadine. Okay? And a slice of lemon, because that's yellow. That was Shirley's, of course, favorite color. So we need to encourage that movement around the United States so that every bartender in America knows what a Shirley Spork is. So here's to Shirley. And I didn't go over my 2.5 minutes. And you got to get your bartender doing this here.
You got some over there, Marvel.
I saw the air traffic controller waving her arms around over there. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Kim Eaton, and I was a young 21-year-old go-getter thinking that I was going to just crush the world of the LPGA teaching division when I met Shirley Spork here in Palm Desert. For all you Monterey people, that was my first job in the golf business, was Monterey Country Club in 1981. So it was fitting to know where I started, Shirley ended. So Shirley not only was my mentor, but then I started playing the mini tour, and Shirley helped me with my golf swing. It was kind of nice because I could call her up and said, Shirley, I'm shanking my wedge. And she'd go, you just need to do this, this, and this. And it was corrected. Well, I got out of the golf business in 1988 and went into the cop business. And I still kept in touch with Shirley, and then when I retired in 2007, I started playing national amateur golf tournaments again because I got my amateur status back. And Shirley and I have just kept in touch over the years. She gave my mom golf lessons, my stepfather, my partner. I mean, she's helped everybody in my life with the game of golf. And the one thing I remember when I was teaching, she would always say, here's a saying to help your women. She goes, son of a bitch. You know, people can relate to that instead of just take it back slow and easy. But when you put some words to it like that, it always works. I will miss Shirley enormously. I mean, we're talking 40 years. And she was a great person. And I am so glad I was part of her life.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Patrick Casey. I had the great opportunity to work with Shirley Spork from 1993 to 2001 at Monterey Country Club. So a great, great experience. And I felt so lucky being on the practice tee with Shirley because all these Shirleyisms I heard over and over again. But the greatest memory I have of Shirley was in 2019 at the PGA of America Hall of Fame induction. And I believe Jimmy Roberts was the MC, and we did it in like a fireside chat format. And right from the start, Shirley took the conversation over, and Jimmy didn't say anything. Shirley controlled that conversation. And it was amazing. I think Jack Nicklaus was there and many other great golf dignitaries. But what that showed me with Shirley is, she was able to command the attention of many different people, whether you're a beginner golfer or a CEO of a company. And, I'll carry that with me for the rest of my life. I think we're all indebted to Shirley for what she's done for women in golf, for young girls, for country clubs to break through barriers. And I know I'll spend the rest of my professional life dedicating it to the spirit and professionalism of Shirley Spork.
Just move so the post isn't in front of me. Debbie Waitkus, and Mark Lamport Stokes had mentioned one of Shirley's traits being wisdom, and I always have called Shirley my wisest friend. And the Monday that Marilyn checked into the hospital before she passed, by Tuesday the writing was on the wall, and I called Shirley back and told her kind of what was really going on. And I said, this is not my news to share, but I'm not sure what to do with it. And as my wisest friend, Shirley said, Debbie, everyone who needs to know already knows. And that gave me great comfort. I have a passage that I would like to share with you. We miss them. Oh, how we miss them. The phone calls, the chair that now sits empty at the table for Thanksgiving, knowing they were there, knowing they loved us, letting them know we loved them. We ache. But those who are gone, our parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, friends and family, are only truly gone if we fail to live as they, in their finest moments, sought to live. They are only truly gone if we fail to remember the wisdom of their old age, the times they cared for us, protected us, cheered us on, picked us up, kissed and hugged and believed in us. The moments they made us laugh, made us think, held us. To remember them, their laughter, their eyes, when they were young and handsome, beautiful and full of life. To live and play the melody they bequeathed to us softens the pain. We embrace them in death as lovingly as they embraced us in life. Was she kind? Then let us be kinder. Was she strong? Let us be stronger. Was she generous? Let us give more. Was she forgiving? Then let us forgive. Was she courageous? Let us find courage and not be afraid. Did she love laughter? Then let's lighten up. Did she reach out to help? Do we? If death gives meaning and purpose to life, which of course it does, then the expression of that meaning is crystallized in a simple yet profound idea. We should live our lives as good ancestors. We should live our lives as good ancestors. I miss you, Shirley. I love you, Shirley. And yes, I love you back.
I am Kathy Rockovitz, and for those that don't know this, I am still Shirley Spork's assistant. And I would really like to thank all of you for being here today to celebrate this wonderful legend, trailblazer, woman, and most of all, my very special and dear friend and family member, Shirley Spork. I first met Shirley in 1992 when I attended her golf school as a beginner golfer. I was very fortunate enough that Shirley taught at Monterey Country Club, and she always made herself available to give me advice. As a beginner golfer, Shirley always wanted to know what I was working on. She would ask me, how far do you hit your 8-iron? 100 yards. How far do you hit your 7-iron? 100 yards. How far do you hit your 6-iron? 100 yards. All my clubs went the same distance. As I became a better golfer, I realized that those numbered clubs do going different distances and directions. She was a wonderful teacher, and she could teach anyone. Shirley truly enjoyed being at Monterey Country Club and giving lessons and being active in the club. As Shirley became a younger, she became an honorary member of the Monterey Country Club Niners. She loved playing golf with the Niners and was very supportive. She enjoyed the many friendships that she made. She always told me that the Niners are the best group of ladies and was very proud to be a Niner. As you will see today, the Monterey Country Club Niners are wearing our outfits. And a lot of this is going to be a repeat, but that's okay. On Tuesday, April the 12th, the Niners were playing in our member. My team started on a par 3, and I made a long putt to par the hole. On the second hole, I made another putt to par the hole. On the third hole, it was a par 3, and I made another long putt to birdie the hole. I can honestly say that day that if I would have putted backwards, Shirley would have made the putt go in the hole from anywhere on that green that day. Shirley was the best putter, and I was only able to play 3 holes that day, but my team went par, par, birdie. Thank you, Shirley. Okay. I'm going to do a touch and run here for a minute. Shirley liked to bet. She would come to our house, and we would bet on football games, horse races, ladies and men's major golf tournaments. Shirley always wanted to bet. Shirley always thought she had the edge when it came to horse racing, and she would call Bill Doherty to get the odds. A game that Shirley and I played a lot was Rummy Cube, which is what she had played with Jane. Of course, Shirley wanted to bet. So whoever lost had to buy either lunch or dinner. We played over 1,000 games. On July 13, 2012, Shirley won the very first game, and our very last game was on April 9th, and Shirley won the very last game. Shirley's memory was incredible. She had a memory like no one else that I have ever known, especially at her young age. She amazed me at the names, details, places, dates, whatever it was she could remember. What an incredible gift she had. This was an invaluable asset to the LPGA. Not only did she live it, but she remembered it. Shirley was extremely intelligent and could have achieved anything that she wanted to do. And we are all blessed that she chose golf. What 94 young person do you know goes to physical therapy to get stronger and have a better balance? Shirley Spork. That's who. Shirley may have been 94 on the inside, but on the outside, she was 64. She was very excited and very proud and honored to be inducted into the PGA of America Hall of Fame and also into the LPGA Hall of Fame. Shirley is an inspiration to me. She was my teacher, coach, mentor, and one-of-a-kind, special and dear friend. I cared very much for Shirley's well-being, health, happiness, and I love her very much. Shirley was kind, thoughtful, generous, caring, and giving, and well-rounded, and had a full and great life. Shirley had a great sense of humor, and she loved to laugh and have a good time. She valued each and every one of you with your kindness, support, love, and friendship. I am incredibly grateful, thankful, appreciative, and blessed to have Shirley as part of my family. I will cherish our friendship, times that we spent together, the joys that she brought into my life, the life lessons she taught me, and the stories that she told. My memories of Shirley will last forever and are priceless. Shirley enriched my life so many ways and was a huge part of my life. I love you, Shirley, and I miss you dearly. May God be with you and look upon you and bring you peace. I am Kathy Rockovitz, and I drive on.
My name is Cheryl Pastor, and I've known Shirley for years. I'm a Master Life professional. I've been a member for 47 years. And I wanted to talk about the first day I ever met Shirley Spork. As a matter of fact, Noni was in the room at the time at a seminar that we went to. And here I am, the newbie in the room. And everybody in that room was either a Class A Master Professional, and Shirley Spork. And Shirley, we signed in, and Shirley Spork walked straight up to me and said, "Well, young lady, what do you think of the LPGA?" And I said, "Well, ma'am, I want to be a member, and I want to be the best member I can be." And she goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, young lady, I'm going to make you not only a player, but I'm going to make you a great teacher." So down the road, of course, she failed me on my Class A test, like a number of us. But that was because I had broken my foot, and I'm on crutches, and I show up, and she said, "Well, you're not prepared." And I said, "Well, I'm as prepared as I can be. I have my watch on." But Cheryl, you don't have your clubs, you don't have your shoes. And she goes, "You have to have them. It's part of the routine. If you don't have it, you fail." And I said, "But I'm here, Shirley. I came all this distance." So she goes, "Well, you're going to have to wait 6 months, and that's the way it is." So that's the way it was. And I have to tell you, she made us all better. She was the heart and soul of this organization. And I cannot say enough about her. We have laughed for years about all the stories. We all have a million stories about Shirley Spork. We could talk on and on and on. But she was the greatest individual representing our game and all of us. And I can't ever thank her enough for everything she did for me, everything she did for all the members in this organization, because she made us all better, and I can't tell you how much better it was. So I'm thrilled to death that she was a part of it, and I got to meet her and spend an awful lot of time with her, like a lot of us here in this room, and she was very, very special. So again, to you, Shirley, thank you again.
Hi. How's everybody this evening, or this afternoon, I guess? My name is Gary Van Brunt, and I got to put my eyes on. Hold on. I and Mike are Shirley's second cousins, and heard a lot of great stories about Shirley, and touched me, touched my heart. And when I was a small boy, about 8 or 10 years old, I went to a golf tournament, and Shirley was playing, and she came over, and I was with her mother and father and my aunt and my mom, and you know, I didn't think much of it. I was just a small kid, right? I didn't know anything about golf. And then I worked for a discount tire company, and Michelin took a bunch of us to Oakland Hills in Michigan for a tournament that was between, it was the Ryder Cup between England and the U.S. And you know, I started thinking about Shirley, and I told everybody that, you know, my cousin worked here, and she golfed here and golfed in this tournament and so forth. Not the Ryder Cup, but you know, and different tournaments. About 10 years ago, I got a call from Shirley, and she said, "Hey, I'm going to be in Phoenix, and with Marilyn Smith, and we need to find a sponsor for a golf tournament that we're having there." And you know, Discount Tire did not sponsor anybody, but I said, you know, we'll get some tee boxes and some putting greens and so forth, and we'll put our sign up there. And that started off like a great reunion that we had. You know, I got talking with Shirley again, and I think I played with 2 or 3 of you in that tournament here that are here today, and you know, they all outdrove me. They did. Of course, you know, the men had to play from the men's tee, and that was 100 yards back, and so they had 100 yards to start on me, and you know, they would all hit the ball straight, and I'm right and left and all that kind of stuff. So, but then Shirley got a hole in one, and I said, "Shirley, what hole in one is that for you?" It's number 7. And she was like disappointed. I said, "Well, you know, that's pretty good, getting a hole in one." She said, "Yeah, but there's no prize on this one." And yeah, they gave her a prize. Yes, they did. Yes, you gave her a prize, and so she got something. What did she get? Yes. Let me tell you, so was Shirley. She was disappointed too. Let's see. So she said, "You're staying for lunch, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, you know, I really should get back at the office." She said, "Oh, you got to stay for lunch." So I sat down next to her, and they brought our lunch. Well, she didn't have a bite because people were coming up to her, wanting her autograph. They wanted to talk to her. And, that's when I first realized that we, Mike and I, and his family, we have a celebrity in our family. And so, let's see, what do my notes say? Oh. I played golf with Shirley the last 3 or 4 holes at Singing Hills in San Diego. And Al Olson was with us, and Al never had a lesson in his life. And I said, "Al, you know, you might want to talk to Shirley. She's a teacher." And after 3 or 4 shots that he made, she says, "Geez, you're like a totem pole, you know, you fall backwards and you can't, you know, stand up straight." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, well, okay, sorry, Al, you know." But that's my cousin, you know, she told it like it was, right? And anyway, Mike, stand up, Mike. Come on. Yeah. There's Mike. Yes. Mike and I, we're blessed to know Shirley. Mike was in Detroit, I was in Arizona, and Cheryl and I have gone out to dinner with her a couple different times in Arizona. But Mike, congratulations on being a relative. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Dean Schneider. Candace Atkinson and I are both representatives of the LPGA Tour staff members, so we're very appreciative to get to come over and be here and celebrate the celebration of life of Shirley Spork. There's a couple things that I just wanted to say. Personally, I started with the LPGA Tour in 2014 as an intern with the Teaching and Club Pros division at the time. My first tournament out on site was the Founders Cup in Phoenix, and Shirley grabbed me and she said, I was a past college player, and she said, let's go over to the demo. Ping had a demo, and she goes, I need a new hybrid. So she was 87 years old at the time, and she puts a ball down, swings, hits it, puts another ball down, puts it in the divot, hits it. And she's like, I got to see what kind of reaction I'm going to get from every type of lie. I'm like, 87 years old? Who cares? Let's just make contact, right? So that was one memory I knew I'd never forget about Shirley. But then, I was fortunate enough to, I got to attend the PGA of America Hall of Fame induction with Kathy, and fortunate enough to get a photo with her and Jack Nicklaus, one that's in my office that will never go anywhere, just the three of us. And then April 4th, she sent me this text. Let me get my phone to unlock. So a week before she passed, she said, I'll be working trying to find a sponsor for the 2023 two-day Pro-Am and two-day stroke play at Mission Hills Country Club. So at 94 years old, if she's still working, I can promise you that myself, and I know Candace, will continue to drive on for Shirley Spork and all that she's done for us.
Thank you. I'm Candace Atkinson. I manage the commissioner's office at the LPGA, which really means I manage the founder's office of the LPGA. I had the great honor and privilege of getting to know Marilyn Smith and Shirley Spork pretty much from day one at the LPGA. Got to travel with them anywhere they were. I got to go and just be a fly on the wall, and I'm so fortunate. And one of the things that I think I'm most proud of at the LPGA, and something that we will continue to do for as long as we are an organization, is something we call Act Like a Founder within our staff. And what it is, it's an award, and it's by your actions, you inspire and encourage your teammates to embody the passion, pride, and perseverance necessary to enhance the LPGA. And I know we've heard lots of words spoken about how wonderful and many things of Shirley, and I think passion, pride, and perseverance, and something that we at the LPGA internally take, it's our highest honor that you can receive. And I had the honor of receiving that in 2017 and got to sit with our founders and just experience just a small piece of heaven with them, and just things that I'll remember and take with me forever. And we are so fortunate, all these stories, all of these memories, and our founders film. Just thank you for just getting us and putting us on a stage and having a spotlight. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to Shirley.
Okay. So I have, you have something? Well,
Do you have time for one more?
well, I'm going to have, let's do two, because I
Okay.
want to tell a little story with me in it with Patty Markey. So when I was at Shirley, I went to Shirley and I said, Shirley, why does Marilyn Smith have an event and all these other, and you don't? And she goes, well, I don't know. I said, well, let's do one at Palm Valley. So that's all it took. She and Kathy and the Niners of Monterey took it on, and we had 3 Pro-Am. So we were raising money for the first tee here, Coachella Valley, and for her alma mater. So one of the 3 years, Shirley came to me, and I never said no to Shirley. She said, listen, I want you to get Dr. Florence Underwood to come perform here or be here at one of our events. So the only person I know that knows about this is Dr. Florence Underwood, and I'd like you to tell the story of how Shirley came to decide this was an event.
So my name is Patty Marquis, and I have known Shirley since the 70s. So Sally Dodge and Noni Schneider, I've known Malia since we were young, but they are all, yeah, I know, when we were young. So Shirley and, I have to tell this real quick, Betty Hicks and maybe Sally Dodge gave me my test to join the LPGA. And Shirley knew my golf coach at Dean Islandfeld in college, and I heard Shirley say to Betty Hicks, this is a great kid, she'll do great. So they send me with this guy over to this bunker for my test, and I have my shoes shined and all that. So I go over to the bunker. Well, this guy is shanking it dead right out of the bunker and almost killing Shirley and Betty. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. And I hear Shirley say to Betty, she's got to fix his grip. I think she said it a little louder. And so I fixed the grip, and then that was okay. And I actually did pretty well after that. But then Shirley said, I've got you a game this afternoon after your test. And I said, great. And I said, who's it with? And she says, it's a guy named Bobby Riggs. And he's supposed to have Battle of the Sexes with Billie Jean King. And he doesn't think women can beat him. And she said, you've got to kick this guy's ass. And I'm like, okay, I got it. So I go over and I play, and she goes, and I want you to gamble. I'm like, okay. So I go over, and Bobby Riggs and I played 18 holes, and I come off the 18th green, and Shirley's standing there, and Bobby Riggs hands me a $20 bill, and Shirley goes, I get $10. So anyway, quite a long time ago, I was going to have an event at my golf course, and I always had the same people come and speak, and I thought, well, this is getting kind of boring, so I'll just make somebody up. So I made up this woman named Dr. Florence Underwood, and she's got some YouTube videos, but Malia wanted me to bring her, but she's in a suitcase in Nevada, and I couldn't get the outfit out. But anyway, she would have done a skit about Shirley, and one of the things that she says is, you know, they don't call it a trap anymore because that kind of puts a negative idea in your head like a trap, and you might get it trapped in there and never get out, and that's why they call it a bunker now. So on and on, but I could have gone on about Shirley forever, but Shirley made every single person she ever met feel special, and that's why we're all here. Okay.
Patty's a hard act to follow, and I couldn't echo what everybody said, and I have so many people to thank for just loving Shirley, taking such good care of her, and honoring her. I'll just share a few things. I'm like kind of still in shock that Shirley passed, and I'm still pinching myself that I was able to have such a friendship with her, a relationship with her. I met her about 20-something years ago in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which was near where I grew up. As it happened, there was an EWGA event, and Shirley, of course, was the teacher. She was the honored teacher, and I was just, some of you know, starting to teach this Ki golf, and I had my sword and all my stuff, and Shirley was watching me, and I didn't even quite get who she was. But somehow she kind of approved of what I was doing, and then we became friends. At one point, I asked her if she would write some kind of recommendation for me, and she, on her stationery, wrote me in capital letters a full page, handwritten. So it's something I really cherish from her. She was so supportive. She was so supportive of every single one of us, and I think made all of us feel that, you know, we really can do this, and that being an LPGA teaching professional is like the greatest thing that we can be, and it was because of her. So a couple other little stories. I asked her, I've been working on some of her memorabilia recently, and I asked her, how did you, get to be such a great businesswoman? Because the founders were not only great players, but they had to be marketers. They had to do everything. And I said, how did you get that business in? She said, well, it was like this. When I was growing up, I was an only child. My dad and mom, they were busy, so I needed to make some money. So I used to buy Cokes and candy bars, and I set up a stand, and I sold them to my friends at a profit. She'd mark them up. And that was her original business sense. Let's see. I just made a few notes. talking about her teaching wisdom. I used to love hanging out with her because she would like give so much insight. She'd go, you know why Michelle Weed does that tabletop thing? Do you guys know why? You ever think about, why she was putting like this? And she got to be a better putter. She goes, well, she can't see. I go, I didn't know that. She goes, yeah, she's got really bad eyesight. And so, and she's tall. So she has to get over the ball, and she's got to get over the line, and that's the way she does it. It was great to just get Shirley's insights in those kinds of ways. So one day, she goes, so she has a poster on her wall of Marilyn Smith's 1987 and 88. Marilyn did a founders reunion. And she goes, yeah, my partner was Louise Suggs. I'm like, really? So she's talking about that. And then she goes, well, yeah, she shows me the poster. And she goes, well, we got these jackets. And I go, what do you mean jackets? She goes, well, from Ben Hogan. I'm go, really? She goes, yeah, I got mine in my closet. I go, well, put it on, would you? Can I see it? And she goes in her closet. She pulls out this jacket, and she puts it on. She goes, well, it's a little big. I'm a little smaller now. She goes, but, and she goes, a nice material, don't you think? Well, it's from Ben Hogan. And then she has the insignia of Marilyn Smith's tournament on there. She opens up the inside of the jacket. It's silk inside, and it has customized for Shirley Spork from Ben Hogan. And we have since found pictures, right, of Ben Hogan putting the jacket on each one of the founders. So, yeah, there's just such cool stuff like that. And she's just like, yeah, it's in my closet, kind of thing. She had clubs like from the Babe. She had balls that used to go with the old hickory shafts and stuff. I go, well, where are they? She goes, oh, they're up here. And she goes in her closet, kind of tucked up there. She pulls out these just unbelievable things. Let me see. What else? We talked about her memory. It's just astounding. She knew everybody's, dad, mom, their uncle, their kid, what they used to do, how many there were. Do you remember what golf course you played? Like 6 months ago or 2 years ago? She remembered absolutely everything. So we've really lost just such a treasure in terms of the knowledge of the LPGA. So all of the stories, we're just, want to keep collecting them that everybody has to share. And I think everybody probably has on your phone stories of Shirley talking. I know I have some, and a lot of people do as we're talking about it. So, there's just so much to collect. I remember we went to Clearview for Renee Powell's 70th anniversary of Clearview in 2016, and Shirley was supposed to putt. Like that was sort of her job, was to putt with people and make putts for them. So she would do that, but she spent most of the rest of the time just like giving putting lessons to everybody, correcting everybody's stroke, which was really cool. Last couple of things I'll say is that her ducks, she had ducks everywhere, and she has a Donald Duck hair dryer. Like, no kidding, from I don't know when, the 50s or 60s or something, and it works. So I used to use it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And the last thing, cock-a-doodle-doo, I have to talk about that because I'm not a morning person, and if anybody knows that, just not at all. And, there's like early tea times, right? Shirley would come in, like, I get up at the very last second. She'd come in like an hour early or more, and she'd go, cock-a-doodle-doo, and wake me up, and and she'd like boot me out the door, but she always gave me a banana and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So that was Shirley to a T. So, we can all just go on and on and on. I love seeing the pictures of her, and just know that we all love her so much and have been gifted so much. And as Debbie was saying, there's so much to continue to drive on, but to give forward, to keep giving forward in Shirley's spirit and honor, and in all the founders. So thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, we have one more, and then a little video celebration, and we'll end this evening. So what great stories. So go ahead.
Hi, okay, I'm trying to stand somewhere you can all see me. I've been hiding in the back. Hello, hi. I'll just turn around as I speak. So my name is Leah Schwartz, and I'm also here with the LPGA. I've been hiding in the back, looking at all the beautiful videos and stories that everyone's been sharing. Similar to Dean, I also started as an intern at the LPGA with what was the teaching club professionals back then, now LPGA professionals, and I had a chance to learn all about these incredible women that started the LPGA, including Shirley. And then a few years later, I was hired full-time, and now I'm working with our communications team, so getting to learn even more. And my first time meeting Shirley was at the Marilyn Smith Charity Pro-Am, and I was honored to be invited to play there in 2018, and Shirley and Marilyn just welcomed me into the family with open arms. But the time where I really got to know Shirley was at the 2019 Founders Cup. And I was honored to be able to interview Shirley, Marilyn, and Marlene. And Shirley, of course, I ask her one question, and 20 minutes later, she's answering a different question and telling all of these stories. But I felt like I was really talking to my grandmother. And that's what Shirley became to me. Just every time that we met, she was like my second grandmother. And my actual grandmother passed away last fall. And we were at the Chevron Championship last month, and I was riding around with Shirley, and I was honored to be Shirley's keeper after the announcement of her being into the Hall of Fame, which actually, backtracking, another funny story, we're sitting there and Molly is waiting to tell her that she gets into the Hall of Fame, and we planned it as a surprise meeting. So of course, 20 minutes later, Molly and Shirley are still sitting there greeting each other. Shirley's talking about the first golf club she ever owned and all the different clubs that are around here in the Palm Desert area. So 20 minutes later, we got to tell her the news that she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that Wednesday, I got to ride around with her all day, take her around to the various press stops, and she turned to me at one moment and said, "You really miss your grandmother, don't you?" And I said, "Yes, Shirley, but you're like a grandmother to me," and she really was to me and so many others. The next week, she had called me as I was driving back home and told me that she had started physical therapy and was getting ready for the Cognizant Founders Cup, and we were so excited to celebrate her there. We still did without her there, but I just wanted to read one paragraph that I wrote. I wrote a story the day that Shirley had passed, and the last paragraph was Shirley Spork, 94 years young with spirit, tenacity, and spunkiness that I can only dream of emulating. All I can say at this point is thank you, Shirley. I will forever act like a founder for you.
What great stories, and thank you all for coming today. We have one last video, and what I want to just tell you all is after this, the celebration is done, but I really want to thank the LPGA for being here, Marvel, and everyone that flew wherever you came from to honor Shirley. It's truly been a wonderful day, I think. So I want to thank everyone. Also want to remind you to take your Sporkisms and your bookmarkers with you when you go. Don't take the golf balls in the middle. I have little beepers on them. Oh, Patty. Yeah, I just want to tell you, whenever I invite Patty to a party, she always tries to take over. I've known her too long. Anyway, so we want to thank you for, oh no.
We're honoring a woman today who really let us in. Yeah. And in the world of professional sports, that's a huge thing. And so let's pay tribute to Shirley for letting us into her life, letting us be a part of her family, and really letting us get to know her.
Yeah. Okay, so with all that said, I want to thank everyone for being here. We could have this last video. The history of it is Shirley always told story about how the LPGA was going to be on television at an early golf outing. Everyone was excited and wanted a chance to be being seen playing. This is Shirley telling the story about how she tried to get on TV, but had an incident happen on the green concerning her ball marker. This was a dinner. This was a video of a dinner last October in New Jersey at the Founders Cup. And you know, no one tells a story like Shirley does. Again, please enjoy the video. Thank you so much for being here, and the tributes to Shirley and her family. Thank you. And with that, we'll start the video and have a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here.
Green and be on television. So for 2 or 3 weeks, we all talked about what we were going to wear, and we dieted, and we talked about how we're going to be on television on the 18th screen. So, and we praised God that we hit a good drive. They were sitting up so we could hit the ball in the air over and then walk across the bridge. And on the 18th hole, they had a little circle of a stand for the members of about 200 could sit and watch us. Praise to God, I had a good drive. I got the ball in the air and I got on the green. And now we're going to walk across the bridge, and the cameras are over there around the circle, and we want to make sure we're going to be on television. And my partner's ball was farther away than mine. And on the first tee, they gave us a ball marker, which was a plastic red bingo marker that we had used all day long. And I had to mark my ball because I was in my competitor's line. So I made sure before I went to mark my ball that I walked to see the camera. And then when I went onto the green, I took my little ball marker and tapped it and put it down and tapped it and walked off the green around the camera. And as I stood there, my partner kept walking around and couldn't see where I was marked. And I'm looking at the camera, and I looked down at my putter, and the ball marker was Now what do I do? Do I call a ruling? No! Boy, casually. And pretended to put it down. I cut it. Now, as I walked off the green, my opponent said, "Geez, I hope I didn't step in your line." I said, "No problem. Into my putter." True story. And the person that what I was playing with was our rules chairman, Mr. Rawls.